Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald.
I'm Board.
And we are going to review Successors.
By Phalanx.
Finally.
Yes. This is one of the games we've just recently done in our historical month here in January. We played this about 5 or 6 times overall. Only twice on stream.
Good amount.
We decided, hey, we just did Brett Walda by Phalanx, did a review for them. We're playing this. Let's get a review for this one as well. And see how it fares against our rating system.
Yeah, and so for those of you who haven't watched one of our review videos beforehand, the way that we rate games is on a multi-factor rating, or categories, whatever, I forgot the last words to say. Anyway, so we rate them on storage, we rate it on the rulebook, the design of the game, which is how the components are made out of, and the look, iconography, all that, and then finally gameplay, and it is weighted. So gameplay is at 40%.
Yes.
Correct? Then we had design at 25. I'm blanking at the top of my head. Oh, it's right here in front of me.
Sure.
Gameplay is at 40, design's at 20, rulebook is at 25, and then storage is at 15. To try and weight it in a way that we care about the games we have, and it seems like most people do.
Yeah. Obviously, the reason you're buying a game is to play it, so gameplay is the highest.
Yes.
You want to understand how to play it, so rulebook is second highest. Then would come the other 2 categories. Having bad storage is annoying, but not necessarily a deal breaker if it's a great game. So that's how we developed our rating system.
Exactly. So we're each individually going to give scores, and we'll give a combined score based on our individual ones, which will be the final Bald and Board Game score, which will determine if Successors is a don't play, just okay, must play, or potentially a perfect. We shall see.
To kick things off, we start at the top with storage.
We do.
How everything fits in this box, how easy it is to get out of the box.
All right, are we there?
We are.
We're not. No, we are.
We're a quarter of the way there.
Yeah. All right, so storage for Successors, in summary, is lacking. So what they did, I'll start off with the positive that was really nice, is they have nice spots for their very nice minis. And then this fits right on top of the other ones that go down below. Included in such is this diagram on how to put them away.
Which is great.
Magnificent. That's kind of where the good part for me of the storage stops. They give you all these wells, which aren't meant specifically for any one thing, really. You could dump all this out into the well, sure, but then every time you go to play, you have to fish out every individual piece for every individual color, which is why we have them all in individual bags, which tend to get rolled up and shoved in there, all next to each other. The cards end up over here pretty much by themselves, and it looks like it was meant for that. The other problem I have with storage are where these dice go. When all the dice are in here, they fit, but it can be hard to get them out of there initially. So for me, I'm going to keep it short and simple. I'm not a fan of pointless wells just because you have a bunch of tokens. I would prefer specific areas for each of the tokens, especially when you have different factions and colors, to keep things separated, to get to the board much, much quicker. That way you don't have baggies filled with things like this where we have to sort them out every single time to play. It makes setup terribly, terribly long. So storage for me gets a 3 out of 5.
All right. So I'll start off right where Bald started off. I love the mini spot. So you have your line up here of minis, and they actually do it well where it's like, here's the heirs and family members mostly, and then all of the generals you're using are mostly right in here. Boom, it slides in, and the diagram is great. So that part, phenomenal. I do agree. We have a bunch of wells. Larger cards go in this one, smaller cards go into this one. So these 2 wells are okay, cool, and the cards fit nicely. So the whole deck fits there nicely. So it's not bouncing around too much. It fits in pretty well. Small cards, similar. So I don't mind these 2 wells, but to Bald's point, these are just for baggies or dumping tokens. What I wish they had done was, one, this could play 5 players, I believe. Do this, but have these wells pop out. So you have 5 wells, 1 for each player, and then you have a well that just pops out. They didn't do that. The dice, I could go either way with. It's annoying to pop out, you're right. But it's not that bad. For dice, it's if it was like tokens where they could bend or something, I'd be more annoyed. But it's dice. It's like, okay.
I just added that in at the last second because as I was trying to take it out to put it on the board, I'm over here doing this,
Yeah.
like, this is pissing me off. Like, I'm putting that in.
But yes, overall, it is a box of holes that fit things. Pun intended.
Box of orifices.
Who's it and what's its glory? I have 20. I give storage a worse rating, a 2. The minis are great. Everything else is lacking. Yes.
All right, everybody. So storage is one thing that is the lowest weighted thing in our reviews. Next is the second highest, the rulebook.
Yes.
Which also includes the helpful handy handouts.
Player aid?
Yeah, that's right.
Helpful handy handouts.
I'm like trying to like delay.
I was like, are you gonna finish what it's called?
It came in and never came. Go.
So for Successors, they give you 3 things. The player aid, they give you the actual rulebook, and then they give you this playbook, which is kind of nice. So this is not a campaign game, it's just a war game, but they do give you a nice example of playbook, and they go through different scenarios, which is kind of cool. So going through understanding how everything works. Very informative. You can see you have pictures here. I don't think we ever used this. We just kind of played and learned because it's generically a war game. You just kind of figure it out as you go. Take over territory is kind of how a war game works. But I do like this, and it's broken into different sections. So if you're someone who wants to like learn exactly how they would do it, it's right there available to you. The rule book itself, table of contents on the front, cool story. Goes in depth. I like how they start off with like a key concepts and go over, here's what all these different things are called. Here's what movement means and how to move. And then it digs into victory conditions, goes over a bunch of things to earn victory points and legitimacy. Then it goes into setup. So all of that is before setup. And then you go into, after you get through all of the setup, the sequence of play and then all the different turns and what you can do on your turn. Overall, I do like that there's pictures for a lot of these. That makes understanding significantly easier. You're talking about generals. You have a picture of what the generals look like and what their cards are. Then you have, way back here, is battle. Way back. There's naval movement of battle. I probably passed land battle. Did I even get to... Oh, yeah, I would have passed. Oh, no, land battle's after naval. There is. Way in the back is battle. And it goes through how the battle steps work. Overall, again, this game is not overly confusing. It is more of a very tough strategic game. Concepts are pretty straightforward. And then you have, boom, your player aid goes over everything in depth here on all of those turn actions that you can do, how to do movement, how to do battle, all the tables that you need to find the results. I'm going to keep this fairly short and sweet. I think the rulebook is very well done. Pretty much everything you need to know is here. I know Nick may call out one thing on this player aid, but overall, it is really well done. The colors are vibrant for the tables to see exactly what you're doing. They do that flipping colored thing that like Microsoft Excel tables do, where you can easily see each thing without being like, oh, there's 12 things. Like, which one am I looking for? Very easy, very straightforward with the turn segments and how everything, the bullet points work. So I give Rulebook a 5.
All right. Boom. Okay, so start with the playbook because you did also. So the playbook, I actually did use this when I first got the game, and I was learning to play because the main rule book, there's so much information, it was confusing. So the playbook was nice to have to where it walked you through the series of actions. It was still a little confusing, and it took a second to really go through and figure out what they were talking about. But the thing I think I like the most about the playbook that we never actually used, but I think is a great touch if you want to, is that in the back here, you have scenarios. You can literally set up specific historical events to play through, which I think is great for a game that is based in history. I think that is very, very cool. Like, hey, set this up and play with these exact generals who own these exact areas through to the end, whatever it might be. I don't know if in here it says during this phase you do this thing or that thing, but they have a 5-player scenario, they have a 4-player scenario, 3, and a 2-player scenario as well. And you don't have to use these when you play, they're just there for fun. So I think the playbook is great for the scenario aspect of it, being a playbook. I think them trying to go over the game and how it's played was nice, but I don't think it ultimately worked out very well. For the main rulebook, it's a very, very wordy rulebook. There is a lot to explain, but I feel like they could have refined it more because there were times where one thing stated in a rulebook sounded like it contradicted another, and it took a little bit for us to actually learn how to play this because of, I don't know if it was the layout of the rulebook or, again, just the wording where some things were slightly confusing to where even just recently when we played on our street on YouTube there, we realized, oh, you use the whole Taiki deck every single time, which we never knew after
I chalked it up to me reading badly.
Well, I also went through it a couple times as well.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I don't enjoy about the rulebook. Also, this rulebook in particular is very difficult to find what you're looking for unless you know where it is from having read the rulebook multiple times. This table of contents is nice and all. I guess you did the general area, but a lot of times there's like, it could be, like you go back here, you're looking for this thing, it could be in any of these 5 sections. And so it's like, okay, so now I have to go looking for the specific time when this is mentioned. So this, again, is not very helpful. I understand the context of having it all there, but they should have at least made the index multiple pages to where it could say, okay, if you're looking for the elephant die in regards to this, it's in this section. Elephant die in regards to this section. Give me another page or two where you just expand these more to really be helpful, which they didn't. But they did it one time with the generals. General 7.1, and then here it goes over all the different generals, ABCD, all the way through. Do that for everything. So that wasn't great either. Other than that, the rulebook does not bother me. The player aid, or the handy handout as I called it, very comprehensive. There's something that Phalanx is very good at doing is creating these handouts that have a shit ton of information on them, but are organized in a way where it's very easy to find what you're looking for. That bright, bold red text, great. And then it lists out in order what you're doing. Here, for this section that could be very confusing, they clearly state, okay, do all this and then do that. I think this section down here, we messed up one time we played the game because it doesn't clearly, or at least clear enough, state, okay, don't go here until you've done this other thing 5 times. It says it one time up here, do it 5 rounds. Like the very first time we played, we went to go through this entire thing 5 times. And we're like, hold on, that's not accurate. I have my score and it's not going to change. What was the thing you thought I was going to call out on this?
The burying.
The which one?
The burying of Alexander.
Oh, right. Yeah, it doesn't. It is not clear on here when it talks to burying Alexander, how and where you can exactly bury them.
If it's on your turn, because most of us would say, a turn is.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I did my turn, and both of us went. We finished a round. They do it a little bit differently, where 5 rounds equals 1 turn. Yeah, so right here is the contradiction. This is what I'm kind of talking about in the rulebook, where they do a similar thing that creates confusion. So here, specifically under the forage segment, it says Alexander can be buried if the funeral cart is controlled and in a major city. So it's saying as part of the forage segment, you can bury Alexander. So during our game, I was like, cool, I'm golden. He passes forage segment, didn't bury him, done. But then over here, it says, turn end, check if you meet the conditions to bury Alexander. So it's contradicting itself. Here it says it has to be in forage. Here it's saying you can do it at turn end, which is outside your turn entirely. Yeah. Well, turn is 5 rounds. That's why they use that as part of the turn. I know, but I'm saying that. Because technically turn end is after everyone's gone 5 times. No, agreed, yes. Yeah, so... and in the rulebook, forage segment does not have anything about burying Alexander. It's only in the end of turn. Exactly. So... my school ultimately for the rulebook is a 4 out of 5 because of the confusion it creates. I feel like they could have taken a little bit longer to refine it because like the Brett Walder rulebook, smooth, easy reading, right through. That's true. Simple, quick to learn, done deal. All right, so now we go into what is the design of everything, the components like, the board itself, etc. Yes, yes, yes. All right, I think I'm starting with this one, huh? You are. Okay, so design overall. So a lot of punchboard pieces, obviously. So everything you see on here that is not a mini is a punchboard piece. Just straight up. The iconography is very clear, which is great.
Something that I like that they did is on the reverse side of all these pieces, you have another color. So in a 2-player game where you need more of these, you have the other color that you can use for such. So very, very good. Can you grab the yellow for me out of the box, though?
The yellow player?
Yep. So first issue that I have with design is the yellow player has this random blue bird piece on the back of it. Why? There's no faction that is this blue bird.
I don't think there's an expansion for this yet.
There's no expansion for this either. There's literally nothing that I've seen that involves this blue bird piece, unless it's specifically in the playbook, which it could be part of a scenario. So that created confusion early on where I was like, wait, what is that
Calls
for?
out 5 specific markers.
Am I missing stuff? So
that marker, it shows all 5 color markers except that one.
Doesn't show the blue one.
No.
Yep. So design-wise, that just creates confusion. Not a big fan of. Something positive. I like all the, like I said, all the iconography. I like the image of the boats on here. I think that it is relatively easy to find the major areas on this map board. A lot of war games, they make it very difficult to see like Mesopotamia, Syria, if you're not familiar with the geography. And here, it's very clear everywhere. Okay, Cappadocia, blah, blah. There's only a few spots where like, wait, where is that? And it's because it's referencing a small city, which there isn't really a fix for that other than on the card, and this is where I'm going to get into the cards, kind of nice little flow in. On the card, it would be nice when it referenced a city, if it had that city's name in the color of the region. So if you're referencing Alexandria, have Alexandria in red. Boom. I know to look down here for Alexandria. If we're looking for Mazaga, have it in yellow. I know to look right there or over here. I'm going to look to multiple places where it's yellow. Okay, where is it at? And eventually I'll find it. Easier than trying to like, oh God, like where is it all over this board? Then the cards themselves. The cards themselves have great artwork on them. Yep, cool.
I'll zoom in more for
Okay, cool. Yeah. The cards have great artwork on them. The description of what the cards do, other than, of course, cities and trying to locate those, is very clear. Like this, they took time to refine to make sure it was as short and to the point as possible to where there's no confusion regarding what the card says to do. The way that you use the cards, the different kinds. So you have your regular ones, which is either OP or the effect. Cool, very clear. The surprise cards are color-coded red. Again, very clear design. We know those are surprise cards. And then you have your dual one, where you use both of them if you so choose. Some of them you have to. Are these supposed to be used in battling also, potentially?
No, because that one says about battle.
I don't know. I think all the surprise ones have that symbol on them.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have no idea. So again, something we have to check in the rule book for that. Again.
I think there's like some of them are specific outside of battle.
I know, but all the red ones have, all the surprise cards have that on them. So again, some iconography confusion there with the cards. The main thing I don't like about the cards though is that they are a cheap card. They're not overly thin, but they are that cheap quality card. They don't have a linen finish. They're not thick. And they're ones that you would definitely want sleeved over time. We've only played this about 5 times or so, but there's already edges starting to slightly wear off and come up around the outside. Artwork-wise, love the card artwork. For the board, I don't mind the map board, the way it looks. I think that that's clear enough for where you can travel and everything. Lastly, what I'll say that I do really enjoy is the minis. I think the minis are probably the best part of this game because they look like little sculptures. And on the mini, they have their values associated with their initiative and their minimum die roll, which I don't think we ever really use, but it's handy to have those there. So ultimately, the design of this, based on my gripes, based on the quality of some of the components, gets a 3 out of 5.
All right. Yeah, we'll start with the best thing. To the next point, the minis. Minis great. All the minis are different looks. It's not just a generic soldier look. You have the different heirs and family members. And again, all of them either have their legitimacy on it or their battle strength and whatnot as the generals. So, great. All the cards associated. So I'll come down here for a moment. All of the cards have a picture of the same general. It matches what it looks like for the minis. It has all the information the mini has, and then some more explanation, the special ability. So I like these cards. These are actually decent material, too. These cards are great. Very clear on how it works. To Nick's point, too, everything else is pretty much punch board. It serves its purpose. I don't really mind the punch board of all of the player markers, the PCs. All the punch boards for the armies are kind of dull. Like, it could have been something better, but it's fine. For the game board itself, absolutely love the map. I love history. This is what the different areas of the map would have been back in the 300s, BC 300s. It looks great. I like how the lines are very clear. That's like, okay, here's a line that connects this circle and this circle.
Oh, I can't see.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was here's a line that connects this circle and this circle. Boom, boom. Here's a number and victory points, and it matches the orange line at the bottom. Here's the number of territories you must own to gain that region. Perfect. Or number of cities you must own to gain that territory. So the map itself is great. For the cards, this, by the way, is meaningless because I just checked it's anytime. So as long as the circumstances applies.
Yeah. For
the cards, the pictures are great. The artwork's great. Some of these cards are very wordy.
Yeah.
Like some of them, like here, it's like, okay, boom. +2 naval strength. Great. But then you read the trader one, and sometimes it takes, you got to read it like 2-3 times to be like, okay, that's exactly what it does. Like, this is who it affects. This is how it works. But I do like that there's some quotes at the bottom from different members of the Greek community from back then, probably.
Flavor text.
Flavor text, yes. I love a good flavor text now. So the cards are hit or miss. Like, love the artwork. Very clear indicator on what the card type is. And this one you can use either or. This one has a plus sign. You get both. Great. But super wordy for some of them where you got to read them a bunch of times to truly know what the heck happens. And then I will agree with you also that having a card with a location name on it would be significantly better if it showed you in some way, shape, or form that location on the card.
Or at least the region it's in, yeah.
Yeah. Or even like, you have like in the other one. Bretwalda. They have the Dane cards, they have a picture of the map. So you could put a picture of the map, which they have, which is my other cards here. For the region card, they have a picture of, oh, this is exactly where Thalicia is. Boom. This is exactly where Thrake is. And it highlights it. You could have that on the top of the type card if it's calling out a region and be like, this is where it's located on the map. Last thing I'll say is, the last thing I love about this board, which is an issue I have with Bretwalda that doesn't pertain here, is it's not overly cluttered. So the word's very clear. It's not hidden in the text. Bretwalda's a little hidden with how the scripting was. Each city name, boom, city name, that's it. And it doesn't seem like it's too cluttered. Obviously, you have some areas overlapping here, but it still seems very clear where you're like, okay, this is where everything is. So I give design a 3 as well. Definitely the fact that everything was tokens kind of dropped my score. And I'm like, you could have done better with that. And if you have these cool minis, but like...
Yeah, there's actually 2 things that I forgot to mention. I'll throw out there now. So one, I do like the design of the location cards. I think 2 things are very clear. One, the VP you get, the amount of forces they provide you in battle, where it's located, and the requirements to actually own it, like the spaces. Something that took away from my score as well was the independent versus our own like PCs, because of when you have an area taken over, the area could either is a minor city or a major city for us, but for them, it's either a minor stronghold or a major. So I wish for the independents they had different shaped tokens, which would just make it more clear on, oh, when I go for that one, it's different from the minor cities. Because here, I wish all the minor cities were just these circle tokens. That would have made things a little bit clearer, especially because it overlaps for us. Like this here's a stronghold for independent, but it's a minor city for us.
Yeah.
So that created confusion. And then for the units, I wish that the unit token, so all of these square guys. I wish that these were also different shapes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would help discern what type of unit faster. And then lastly, I do like that they have the score tracks on the board. I think this is useless up here, but I like that they have the score tracks on the board.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Gameplay.
How does the play of the game?
How does the play of the game?
So, for gameplay, 30-second overview of the game, it's a war game.
Done.
Pretty much. But it is not Risk. So Risk, you attack, you roll some dice. Oh shit, I had 12 people, he had 2, but I rolled 1s all day, so I lost with 12 people.
Kind of. It's a little bit better now. But
No, I'm saying, but no, so there's significantly more going into it than just a basic game like Risk. Where you have these tight cards you'll be playing on your turn. You'll be able to move territories a little bit differently than you would in just a normal game. You have OPs, which are spending points that you can do different things with to strengthen your army or to position yourself better. So overall, the game goes a maximum of 25 turns, I'm going to call them. They're 25 circles around the game board, or around the player board. Players, thank you. I just hate how they call this thing, which I'll get into in a minute.
it's confusing.
So 25 of those, and then there's 4 instant win conditions. If you are the first person to hit the 18L, if you are the first person to hit the orange at the bottom based on player count, or there's 2 win conditions in era 3 and 4 based on what players are on the board and how things operate. And that's the game. It seems like it's like, oh, 25, up to 25 turns, that can't be that bad. We played 15 turns, triggered a win condition, took us 6 hours.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. I want to go into a war game knowing it's going to be a battle for multiple hours. Like, it shouldn't be an hour game. It should be multi-hour, which it is. Okay, so now my thoughts on gameplay. What do I love about gameplay? I love how region territory control is not just like, oh, I entered this region, I own it now. Mm-hmm. I love that you need to take over a certain required amount of spaces. If there's a major city, which is the squares, yeah, here we go. One of these, the square, you have to take over that major city, and however other many that you need based on the regions. Absolutely love that. I love that there's bonuses available to be like, oh, you went after all 3 orange territories, you get a boost.
Territories.
Territory. You got the 5 H symbol minor cities in this corner, you get the Hellsport victory bonus. So I like that they added that in where it's, okay, I don't need to just attack the other player all day. I can strategically just try to take over territories, but it's more complicated than just walking in. Like, you have to do things to take those territories. So I absolutely love that. I thoroughly enjoy the fact that there's this deck of cards that impact things. It never really seemed like it was OP, where it was, one of the cards was like, oh my god, this is epic, and like this single card's going to win you the game. But you can strategically play them and be like, oh, this player's almost there, but oh, I can remove one of their pieces now.
One single card could stop someone from winning the game,
One
though.
could stop, yes, but I think that's that's just luck of the draw.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, I have a card that gives me 10 victory points, and it's the only card in the deck, and I win. Like, that would suck. So I think the cards are fairly well balanced. I also thoroughly enjoy the fact that there's land and sea. This is the first time we played in like 6 attempts, so we've actually used sea battling and naval battles. But I do like that aspect exists. I love that there's multiple win conditions. It allows players to focus on multiple things and not just the same track every time. So each time you play, you can do things a little bit differently. What are the things I don't like now? Oh, last thing I'll say I do like, I'm going to take one of these back. I thoroughly like the battling. So, as I mentioned, it's not just rolling dice. There is a dice component. But they have this cool table where, based on how many units you have there and your strength of those units, you automatically get like a good starting position. So if I have 10 strength of units, regardless what I roll on the dice, I'm guaranteed to get a 3. Also, each individual has a minimum die result. So at worst, 3. So that means if I roll 2 dice, that's a minimum of a 6. So if I had 10 strength, minimum of 6, I have at least a 4. If my opponent's only going in with 2 units, they would have to roll almost perfect to get a 4. So I do like how they added that balance where if you do have more strength in your army, if you do have better generals than others, that you have that advantage, but it's still not impossible if you're the little guy or the one defending to block. So the way they did that, to me, was probably one of the best ways you could in a war game like this, where you're rolling dice to at least give everyone a chance, but putting a bunch of troops there benefits your chances. All right, things I don't like now. Where to start?
Oh no.
I'm thinking.
That's what it is.
Okay. So I like how the characters have abilities. That's cool. Each character, and I would hope they would represent them from back in that era, what they were about. I don't necessarily like how the units are done. So we have multiple types of units. You have royal, loyal, and mercenary, and then there's elephant units and some other special units. But it is like you just get units and you have units with you. It is super difficult to train and add more units. It's one of the aspects you can do with OP. It's never made sense. Nick tried it once and he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm not going to do this again.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. I also think that like there should be a way to upgrade the units I have. Like if I, like XP wise, if I have these units and I win a battle, maybe I get, instead of suffering attrition and losing units, maybe I can upgrade a unit if I like won more than double the strength of my opposing player or something of that nature. So it just seems very static where it's like, okay, if I'm in battle and I start suffering attrition, like especially against the independent armies, well, now I have to wait until the complete next round to get more units, or I have to do the stupid training thing. So it seems like in a heavy war game, there should be more ways to get units and to strengthen up those units. So that's kind of the main thing I don't like about the game. Because you can get a position where you get attacked and you start losing units, and now you're just a weak army and you're not going to be able to protect yourself. I like how the independent armies operate. Certain of them have to stay in certain areas or travel a certain way, but there's multiple cards in the deck that activate them. So each player can have an opportunity to activate the independent armies, which kind of can screw over another player, which is kind of cool. I think the only other thing I don't like necessarily is the legitimacy. Legitimacy is one of the endgame victory conditions, getting to 18. There's only one way ever to get to 18 in this game. You can collect every person on the game board with all of their legitimacy markers, and you will not be at 18. You can never fight and still have your 3L. You will still not get to 18. The only way to get 18 is to have Babylon start or take over the general who started there, gain the burial cart, and bury him specifically in Peah up here before the end of the third round, or third game turn, as they call it. I just think that's like, okay, if you're going to have a win condition here of legitimacy, you need to offer other ways for players to get there. Victory points. There's all of the territories. There's the 3 different boosts that you can get for victory points, which allow you to do different things to gain the required amount of points. It's just legitimacy. They're like, hey, if you get the cart and over here, cool, you got it. I also think, and this is something we draft, where it should be required that whoever starts in Babylon cannot start in Macedonia as well. Because if you have both of these locations on the board...
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All you have to do is loop around one side or the other, and boom, it's over.
It's like be like a relay race.
Which
Just
I think
off the burial cart.
there was one time we played off stream
It took like an hour and a half.
it took an hour and a half and I won. I was like, boom, boom, done.
Ridiculous.
Especially if you get a naval force, now knowing how naval battle works, if you're the person who owns both of these and you have a navy and the other person doesn't, they can't stop you. Like, you're just going to travel around the outside, hop across one of these paths, and straight on up. Because you can bypass independent armies. You don't need to stop on them. You can just keep going. And especially if you had someone here and you had the card that give you 10 OPs, it's like, oh, there's 10 movement points, gone.
Stupid.
So I think that should definitely be something in the rulebook that says, if you're playing a 2-player game, one person gets Macedonia, one gets Babylon, then deal the rest out however. But overall, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's one of my favorite war games that we've had and we've played. I prefer it in the style over Brett Walda. I still enjoyed Brett Walda, but I prefer this one more. I give gameplay a 4 out of 5.
Boop. Alrighty. My turn. I'll try not to overlap on too much here. Alright, let's start with the things that I like about this.
Oh, I forgot to call it something.
I enjoy, bad example, I enjoy that you have the multi-use card. I always love games that have multi-use cards. You have to make a choice. Do you use it for this or do you use it for that? Phenomenal. The OPs, I like how the OPs work. You can force march. It can help you progress. I like that it helps you remove tokens as well using OP.
MP.
There's no, oh, no, OP doesn't.
OP doesn't remove.
Where's
MP.
OP? Okay. Yeah. Force march.
Other side. Left side.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Where your left finger,
My
where your fingers are.
Lord. Where my fingers are.
Literally
Upgrade,
where your
training.
fingers are.
Yeah. Force march, place PC. That's what I was thinking about. Placing
Yes.
it down. It lets you place them within 2 away. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Where I can use OPs to place one here. Like, it helps you spread your influence. I think that is great. I like the wargame thing, which seems to be pretty standard, to where if I have my general units kind of just with me, in moving my person, I can just kind of drop an army off in a spot and keep going. That allows you to pick up other areas and kind of position them around to be able to fight. I like that there's multiple win conditions as well. I think games that have multiple win conditions is always great. It gives you multiple ways you could potentially win, so one person can't just get super ahead in one way and take the win. I really like the movement allowance table. This offers moments of excitement to where if someone is just way ahead and everyone else is like, oh, God damn it, how are we going to stop them? And they roll a 1, and it's just like, yeah, we have a chance. Like, this is great randomization. I think that's phenomenal. I agree with you on taking over territories. I like that you have to take over a specific majority of the territory to own it. That is significantly better than just taking the whole thing the moment you enter into it. Being able to stick the independence on each other is great, as you stated. I like this idea that they do with the usurper. So the usurper, the person who's ahead in victory points, has this ring. Okay? So everyone else on their board, I'm going to go over to mine here. You have this little 3L, which is 3 legitimacy. Everyone starts off with 3 legitimacy. You will lose this during the game if you attack anyone other than who has the usurper. So you are a champion in this moment, but you lose that champion status if you attack someone else. I like that idea. What I don't like is that as a usurper, you will lose the champion status regardless of who you attack. I think that the usurper should be able to attack anybody. Just makes them more dangerous, and it's going to make more people want to attack them specifically. Because while this is a good idea, ultimately during the game, everyone ends up with it flipped over because it doesn't matter. It could, at the end, it could be the difference in the win, but by the time you can bury the cart and Peya, it's going to be way late in the game. It's not, you're going to have already lost your 3L. You're going to have to get in conflict to be able to get there. So ultimately, it ends up being useless.
One thing to throw in there is I forgot about the usurper. Usurper changes hands every 5 rounds or every game turn.
Yes.
I think it should be every round.
Yeah.
So if a player gets like, oh, they got Hellas, that's 6 VP, they just jumped way ahead, they're now the usurper.
I agree.
Because that would make it more prone to attack that person. Because if I started out tied for, let's say, for example, we use this here, where there's 3 of us playing, and let's say there's someone else under the 10, I start the game there, okay, or the round there, I'm not usurper. All of a sudden I get 2 huge territories and I'm up here. People are like, well, if I attack him, I'm going to lose 3L. Like, that sucks. So this is kind of a shit option now. And now he's going to get an easy win because we may not want to attack him.
Yeah. Yep, no, I agree. Then we have first player token as well. I like that whoever's first player is whoever's in last place, they get to choose which direction the round goes, which again gives them some sort of influence over potentially how the game ends up. So, you touched on a lot of the other things already, so now I'm going to touch on things that I don't really enjoy. While I enjoy the idea that they call it a turn, I'm going to call it a round, that each player gets to play a certain number of cards before it's officially over. I like that there's table cards that go out, so these are flipped on the table. Whoever's in lowest VP gets to act on whatever it says. There's only a set few of these that actually do anything. I think every single Taiki card should have a segment at the bottom that has a very small effect on the board. So that way, every single one of these is doing something to alter the board in some way. Some are detrimental, like when the independents come out. Some are very minor. That would just add some more interest to the game. I think it would make it a little bit better. I don't...
Almost like a weather effect or something to be like, hey, storm came through Cappadocia, roll for attrition.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And if no one's there, you're fine. If someone's there, you're not fine.
I don't enjoy that we go through 5 cards, though. So, in a war game, your turns are going to take probably, unless you know exactly what you're doing, at least 10 minutes. Each individual card that's played, because there's multiple phases in that turn of yours. So if it takes 10 minutes, that means that in one full round, one person is going to take an hour at least to do their entire round's worth of turns. Play with 3 people, that's 3 hours for one round, potentially. Again, if they take 10 minutes each time. So you'll probably take 10 minutes, sometimes longer, other times not as long, some other times. As you get closer to the end of the game, you may know exactly what you want to do, or it may be a strategic moment where the turns take longer. And that's why this game takes so long. I wish each round you only had 3 cards. Cuts off potentially 20 minutes or more. You still have a number of cards to use. It still feels like you have to make a choice, albeit a little more limiting. So that, I think, wasn't play tested enough to where they could have brought down that play time significantly. The battling, I actually don't like entirely. I do like the aspect of the more units you have, the stronger you are to a degree. But the fact that it's still ultimately based on dice rolls means it may not matter. If I have 8 units, and if board has 3 units, I traditionally roll like crap. So if I end up rolling a total of 7, that's a 4 on this track. If you roll a 10 or higher, then you end up tying me and end up winning. So there's just too many areas where the units don't feel strong enough. And that really bothers me, because if you're bad at rolling like I am, like if I have elephants, I could roll blank. Cool, elephants don't do crap. The units I'm in battle with, maybe the highest they go is 3, and I get 6. It's like, okay, that's definitely not going to be enough, and then you lose. So that I don't enjoy. The sieging, which you can see this guy over here was looking at doing, he has a 1 down right now. So to siege, again, it's dice rolling, it's consulting a table based on your roll. You could put a point down, or you could not. You need a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 collectively. So you're rolling 1 die, right? So really the 3, 4, 5, or 6. So there's a 50% chance that you're going to put a point down.
What, Matt? 66.
3, 4, 5, or 6.
66.
Oh, sorry, I missed. I was thinking through. 66. I was thinking 3 numbers, not 4. 3 numbers, not 4. But then there's still there's still 2 where you don't hit at all, and then 2 where you lose units. And so while the math should math out to be able to put a point down most of the time easily enough, the fact that you can lose units sieging, I think, is incredibly dumb. I think if you roll a 1, yes, the 1, you should be punished for rolling terribly, losing a unit. But rolling a 3, putting a point down and losing a unit, that's stupid. That's so dumb, because you have to have 3 units to siege in the first place. So you could roll that 3, get the 1 point down like I have here, lose a unit, and now you can't siege again until you can get a unit on that person. And to board's point, it's not easy getting units. So now you probably have to wait until the entire next round, potentially, to be able to do this siege again.
Or you have to blow through a turn, spend 3 OP to get 1 single mercenary.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, even though the requirement of 3 I don't like, require me to have at least 1 unit. Just give me just 1 unit. That way I can at least lose 1 if I roll terribly. You're going to want to have more so you can keep trying, but just give me 1. So there's a lot of things like that that get in the way. Again, this is bad randomness. This is good randomness. This is bad randomness. In the way that's done. What else was I done? I think that might be. I agree with you on the legitimacy thing, to where it doesn't really matter, make it easy.
Yeah, I would say if you're playing this game and you're an average or above average war game player specifically, no one will ever win a legitimacy.
No.
You either have to be extremely unlucky in battle and lose all your generals.
Yep.
Or, especially specifically a 2-player game, or you weren't paying attention. But if you're playing as you should be playing, no one should ever get the legitimacy win.
Yeah.
The
other thing I don't like, which you already covered, is the training track. It doesn't make sense to do. I've tried it. I've tried it twice. I tried it for like legitimately last time we played, and the OPs are just too valuable everywhere else. It doesn't make sense to spend them there. Oh, I remember my last point. Sorry, not to belabor my point here. When losing a battle, your general potentially is killed or they're dismissed up into this box. That is something that I don't like either. Because when that happens, now it kind of just ruins the rest of that entire round. So for instance, in the game that we just played in Arrow 1, Round 1, Turn 1, whatever, I lost 2 of my generals due to battles. Now I only have 1 general to do anything with. And so going into the second era, I am incredibly behind. I'm stuck in this area because I have that 1 general. And it felt sluggish because now I had to really try. I had to put my generals over here in the first place also. And to try and really push my way back up here. So I think that situation of the general being dismissed in that fashion is way too harsh of a punishment for losing. Or at least if that happens, then I should get them back on my next turn, but I can't use them on that turn. So getting them back is that general's turn. Like, they can't move, they can't do anything.
What I would actually like is, if it got dispersed, that you get, let's say you lose only, like, say, half your units or something. Because right now you lose almost every unit.
Which is too harsh.
Which is hard. I think you should lose some units. Like, you should have an attrition roll.
Yes.
You get a minor general there. So the punishment should be, oh, you have a weaker general now until you get that one back.
Right. And so it's just something like that.
You lose the ability, and they're a little weaker, but you still have ability.
Yeah, like there needs to be some sort, just like you want an upgrade ability. Like if you win a battle, you can upgrade like 1 unit.
Yeah.
BXP. I think that's great. There should be a fail forward in some way to where if you lose a battle, you're not just on your back foot, because if someone just keeps coming at you, then they can just keep you down the entire time.
Yeah.
And that's just not fun. In real war, sure, that would happen. But this is a game. Like it's supposed to be able to be strategic and kind of have that sort of fun thing. But those are all of my points, finally. So I give gameplay a 3 out of 5. All right, everybody. So now we're going to get into our final scoring for everything here for each category.
Yep, so we're just going to quickly go over each of the 4. We'll get like a 1-sentence overview and the score for Bald and Board combined.
Yep.
And then you'll get our independent scores and then the final total for Successors by Phalanx.
Alrighty.
So starting it off, storage. We went over, Bald gave this a 3. I dropped it down to a 2. Bald and Board Games averages that together at a 2.5. Storage lacks. It's great for the minis. There's a spot for all of them. They're protected.
And that's it.
But that's it. Yeah, 100% that's it. Everything else is just wells.
Yep. All right, so next up is the Rulebook. I gave it a 4. Board gave it a 5. So Bald and Board Games gives it a 4.5. Again, we round down. So the Rulebook is comprehensive. The best part is really the player aid. Again, once you can get through the Rulebook, the wordy rulebook that it is, you'll only really need this player aid the entire game. You'll rarely find yourself going to the Rulebook unless it's to look very specific structures of things. So Phalanx, to do anything well, it is the Rulebook and player aids.
For design, I gave this a 3. Bald gave this a 3. Bald and Board Games, therefore, gives this a 3. Design is cool. The map looks great. It covers Macedonia and the whole era of what would have been controlled back then. But there's a lot of things that are lacking. Everything is cardboard punch-outs, which isn't the best other than the minis. The cards are sometimes too wordy, so there's a lot going on with the cards. So overall, there's some definite improvements they could have made with design.
All right, and gameplay. I gave gameplay a 3. Board gave it a 4. So gameplay comes in at a 3.5 for Bald and Board Games. So gameplay is fun, but there's a lot of things from the randomness that can get in the way to the punishing moments that get in the way if you lose or if you want to get more units that can make this not so fun at times.
All right, so final tallies. So as board, for all 4 categories combined for Successors, I give the game a 3.5 out of 5. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great game. Again, a few little things that could have been done better for the gameplay aspect and obviously the other categories as well. But still, it's a game I go back to. Anytime we're like, hey, what do we want to play on a Saturday night? I was like, oh, we got 5 hours. I'll play Successors.
Yeah,
so
true.
3.5.
And I give Successors a 3. I enjoy Successors, but it's definitely a game that I find is like, yeah, it's like I have to be in the mood to want to play Successors because I do know it's going to take a very long time to get through it and to get into it. So I have to be in that mindset to sit down and want to do it to get over the issues that I have there. So, Bald Board Games, the way the final score is going to work for Bald and Board Games is unlike the other categories. The other categories are the average rounded down of our individual scores. The final score here for Bald and Board Games is factored the same way our individual final score is. It takes all the above categories with their weights to give us that final score. And that final score is a 3.5, which makes it
a certified just okay.
It's just okay.
Again, just okay doesn't mean it's a bad game.
No, middle ground.
It's middle ground. It's still a really fun game. Again, storage definitely knocks it down. Design definitely knocks it down.
Yep.
The other 2 categories we had were solid scores.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a game we'll go back to if we're in the mood for it, if we have the time for it.
Yeah.
Phalanx has, again, Brett Waldo we've done, which we both enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah.
But it's a game where it's like, you definitely need to be ready for it, for time-wise, and for a few of the nuances that could ruin the game, where if you're playing a 4-player game, one player could just get shit out of luck and be sitting there twiddling their thumbs while the others are playing the game.
Yeah, just okay is really just it's that hey yeah, it's an okay game. It's one that's a score where if you like war games, if you like this theme, you will like this game. The score that we give, the games we give must plays to are regardless of what you enjoy, you should play this game because you'll most likely enjoy it. That's kind of the delineation that's there. But Phalanx has definitely learned, it seems like, over their time of making war games, which I think is what they do predominantly. From this one to Brett Walda, there's a lot of similar aspects in Brett Walda that they have to this one with area control and stuff. But they definitely have streamlined a lot of things with Brett Walda. Brett Walda, for 2 players, plays in like an hour and a half. And so they definitely have that structure down, but it still feels like you're playing a war game to where 1 or 2 really dumb choices could cost you the game, much like here. And that's what I really want in a war game, is where if I make that mistake, that's when I want to be punished for making that mistake.
Yeah.
And where I have to catch up, not due to randomness. So, Successors, if you like war games, if you have that time, if you have a group of people, or even another person, it can play too, and it plays fun at 2 also, then Successors is definitely something that you would probably enjoy. But if you're not into war games, if you're not looking for something that takes a long time, then you may not enjoy it. But
yeah. And if you're looking for other war games, check out our other videos here on YouTube. We have multiple. This month is our historical month, so we're tossing a bunch out there. And if you're like, hey, 5 hours isn't that bad, let's try to triple it. We will be doing that this week.
Potentially quadrupling it.
With a game called Other Side of the Hill. It's a World War II themed war game, which will take up literally this whole table.
Yeah, we'll have to zoom the camera out for sure.
Yeah. So check that out. Come join us on Twitch.
Yep.
Fridays, approximately 8 p.m. most weeks on Friday. We'll have D&D returning soon if you're one of our D&D fans as well.
Yeah. Yep. Got a lot for everybody, so go check out the YouTube. Follow us on Instagram as well to keep up with what we're doing on YouTube. And then go check out Twitch to make sure you can join us while we're playing live.
Yep.
But thank you, everyone, for joining us for this review of Successors by Phalanx. Hopefully we helped you decide if you're on the fence, if you want to play this or not. I'm Bald.
On board.
And we will see you in the funeral cart.
in the cart. Ooh.